Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Okay, and in this video, this is gonna be something else regarding a subject about WWE video games. Again, I know I have already in my last two videos, I've already counted down what I felt the top 10 best and the top 10 worst wrestling video games ever are. But yeah, there's another subject I want to talk about that is regarding WWE games from Nintendo because yeah, it's just something that I've been questioning why Nintendo does this. What I'm going to be talking about in this video is just why Nintendo never really seems to continue on with the the series they have for WWF for WWE games and continue it on their following consoles because yeah, they really never do that. Because yeah, for each of Nintendo's consoles, also or for at least the ones that they did have exclusive titles to them for the WWF or WWE, like with the Nintendo 64 and the GameCube, you they never did they don't really continue on with this series when they move on to their next console. They always just seem to just cancel that series and then do another one. It is just something that I really don't understand. So yeah, that's just what I'm going to be discussing in this video. But before I actually do start talking about this, I figured I would just give an update about something that I had talked about a little while back. Yeah. So a little while back, you may remember that I did a video kind of just addressing the issue with Sony and Disney regarding since they weren't able to come to a mutual agreement about Spider-Man. Sony was saying that they were going to be cutting ties with Disney and Marvel, and Spider-Man was going to be out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But just last week, it was announced that now Spider-Man will now still be staying with Marvel. So yeah, Spider-Man is still in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and yeah, this is great news. Yeah, it's just last week, it was announced that Sony and Marvel were actually able to come to a mutual agreement finally, and so Spider-Man will now be staying with the MCU, and yeah, this Spider-Man series will continue to live on. So yeah, there's an article on Variety.com that talks about it. Yeah, I'll just read off a little bit of it. Yeah. So the article is after briefly breaking up, Sony Pictures and Marvel have found a way to get back in the Spider-Man business together. On Friday, the two companies jointly announced that Marvel Studios and its president Kevin Feige will produce the third film in the Spider-Man Homecoming series. It will once again feature Tom Holland reprising his role as the titular hero. The rumor mill roared back to life this week with hints that the two companies were close to brokering a new agreement. Over the summer, news broke that the Disney, Marvel's parent company, and Sony had reached an impasse over a new financial deal. Disney wanted the film to be financed on a 50-50 basis, with Feige remaining in a consulting producer capacity. Sony is believed to have proposed keeping the arrangement under the current terms, which stipulate that Marvel receives about 5% of the first dollar gross and all merchandising revenues. The new deal was signed late on Thursday night. Negotiations involved top players from both studios, including Sony Pictures chief Tom Rothman, Feige, and Walt Disney Studios co-chairs Alan Horn and Alan Bergman. In exchange for lending Feige's producing prowess, Marvel and Disney will receive roughly 25% of the profits, according to insiders. Disney will retain its merchandising rights and will put up roughly a quarter of the financing. As part of the arrangement, Spider-Man will also appear in one future Marvel Studios film. The film is scheduled for release on July 16, 2021. Amy Pascal will also produce through Pascal Pictures, as she has on the first two Tom Holland-led films. Yeah, and it's going on to explain some more about how Kevin Feige feels about it and how Sony feels, and yeah, just how all these people that I have already mentioned are or feeling about it. Yeah, I'll put like the link to this article down in the description if you want to read more about it. But yeah. So yeah, I am glad that now uh, Marvel or Disney and Sony did finally like come to a mutual agreement now, and they were able to like they were able to now patch things up after like the disagreements that they had before, which seemed like Spider-Man was going to be pulled from Marvel. But yeah, it's good that they now have reached an agreement, and Spider-Man is now staying in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they can continue on with this. So yeah, I am glad, and I am glad now that the third Spider-Man film from Marvel is now back on. So yeah, I really am especially glad that is back, because with like the mid-credit scene from Far From Home, I was like extremely curious to really see like what how they were really going to follow up on this, and now with them like now continuing on, we will actually get some follow up on it. Yeah, I was going to be extremely pissed if the series would have been canceled after that. After that, it was just going to end on like a cliffhanger like that. So yeah, I am happy that they have now like reached an agreement, and Spider-Man is going to be staying with Marvel. And I guess it's also like still like it's still like up in the air and stuff as far as like the future goes with like as Sony's Marvel universe, as well as when it comes to like the Venom movie, and like how if Venom and Spider-Man will ever like cross paths, will like Sony actually bring Tom Holland into that universe as well and have him like cross over with Venom? Will Marvel like integrate Venom and that entire Sony universe into the MCU as well? Just that's still up for discussion, and we're just gonna have to wait and see like what happens with that. But yeah, as far as like with Spider-Man now being back with Marvel, I am glad that they did that, and I'm glad that they were patch things up. And Spider-Man will continue now to live on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and hopefully now, I am also hoping that in the next Spider-Man film, that they can like get J.K. Simmons back again to have a bigger role as Jameson, because of course like he did like reprise the role as Jameson in the mid-credit scene from Far From Home. So yeah, I really do hope that Marvel can get J.K. Simmons back in the next one in a bigger role as Jameson, because yeah, it was just great to see him back as Jameson again, and yeah, he's just the best thing about the entire Spider-Man film franchise. So I'm hoping that they can get him back for a bigger role as Jameson in the next film. All right, yeah, but anyway, okay, so now getting into this subject about Nintendo's WWF WWE game series. Like I was saying, W Nintendo just never seems to actually like continue on with the series when they like it's their next console comes out. They always just seem to cancel their series because, like I was just saying, on the Nintendo 64, they of course had like the series with WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy. See, yeah, and then once like the Nintendo 64 was retired, they just like ended up like just canceling the series and doing another one. And then when I moved to the GameCube, of course, like they had like the WrestleMania, the two WrestleMania games, WrestleMania 18 and WrestleMania 19, and then they did the Day of Reckoning series. And of course, like the Day of Reckoning series, as I said before, it had two games to it. But then, once like the GameCube ended up being like retired, this series was canceled as well. And then since the GameCube, like Nintendo really hasn't done like the WWE exclusive titles to their consoles anymore. And I'm just wondering, like, why does Nintendo do this? Why do they like always just cancel these series once like the console that they were released on is like retired? Why don't they like continue it on with the following console? Because of course like PlayStation does it. Like PlayStation like has had like the SmackDown series that started on the PlayStation 1, and of course like they continued it on the PlayStation 2 with like Just Bring It, Shut Your Mouth, and Here Comes the Pain, and then the SmackDown vs. Raw series, and the SmackDown vs. Raw series like continued on with in the next generation of consoles. Like it was continued on like the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, and then like it eventually like had of course changed just like the WWE like series. Like you had WWE 12 and WWE 13, and then it changed to the WWE 2K series, which is still going on now on like the current consoles. But why does Nintendo just why do they always just like cancel these series when the console that they were released for is retired? Because like I was like with the two N64 games with WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy, like I've heard that like for this series, like Nintendo was also planning a Backlash game for the series also, but it ended up being canceled once the Nintendo 64 was retired, which I really don't quite understand. I mean, why did they just end up retiring the game? Why didn't they just continue on with this series? Is when the GameCube came out, why didn't they just have the Backlash game be released on the GameCube and they could continue on with the series on the GameCube? But yeah, they didn't, and I'm not really too sure why Nintendo did cancel this series. I don't think that there's been any like total reason given why they did it, but I'm not really too sure because I mean, yeah, the WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy games, I mean, they were like really loved. Like a lot of people really did love them. People say that they are great games, and I do love them myself. I mean, I put both games on that top 10 best wrestling games list. So yeah, these games like were very beloved. So I don't really know why they like just the series ended up just being canceled when the N64 was retired. Yeah. And as far as the GameCube games go, like with particularly with the Day of Reckoning series, is why it was only cut to, well, why it only lasted 2 games, and like once the GameCube was retired, it didn't like they didn't carry on with the series. It didn't like carry over to the Wii. I really don't know why. I mean, I guess probably one reason could probably be like because I guess like these Day of Reckoning games I guess were the main competition for like the SmackDown versus Raw games that were released the same years as both Day of Reckoning games. The Day of Reckoning games didn't sell as well as the SmackDown versus Raw games did. I mean, the Day of Reckoning games like sold around like they did sell like hundreds of thousands of copies, but yeah, the SmackDown vs. Raw game sold millions of copies. So yeah, I guess that just could be a reason why, since like Day of Reckoning games didn't sell as well as the SmackDown vs. Raw games. So I guess maybe like they probably just didn't sell as well as Nintendo was really hoping for. So yeah, the series ended up being canceled when the GameCube was retired. So I guess that could be a possible reason why. But I mean, it's not like the Day of Reckoning games were hated because people did love the Day of Reckoning games. And so, yeah, as far as that goes, I really don't know like why Nintendo canceled the series once the GameCube was retired, and then yeah, and then like I said, after the GameCube was retired, Nintendo really didn't have they didn't have any exclusive WWE titles on their consoles anymore. Just yeah, with the Wii just like like just had the SmackDown versus Raw games released on that as well from um, SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 all through WWE 13. Those games were all released on the Wii as well, along with like the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. But yeah, there was and I never did play those games. But yeah, like I was saying before, I have heard that those games are like just really watered down compared to like the versions on the other consoles. So yeah, so I guess like probably those versions of the games didn't sell too well either. And yeah, and ever since the Wii, like there really hasn't even really been like any WWE titles at all on consoles as well. Like the Wii U didn't have any wrestling titles on it, and the only one that's been released on the Switch is WWE 2K18. That's all there's been, and since so, yeah. So I guess I don't really know what to say, but yeah, I just don't understand why Nintendo really didn't always like. Well, they did before they just canceled their series for the console that they were on. I don't understand why they didn't just continue on with the series on the following console. So it's just something I really don't understand. And I mean, do you guys know any more about this than I do? I mean, do you know any more about this? Why Nintendo does this? I mean, if you know more about this than I do, just comment it on my channel, and just tell me if you know any reasons why Nintendo does this, because I'm just puzzled by it. I really don't understand why they do it. Well, but yeah, if you know more about this than I do, just comment it on my channel and just explain more about it to me if you do. Yeah, but it's just something I really don't quite understand. But yeah, because yeah, like I was saying, with all this stuff that, well, yeah, as these games really were successful, so I really don't understand why Nintendo just canceled it when the console was retired, and rather than like continuing on with it on the following consoles, like the PlayStation did with the SmackDown series. Yeah, yeah, I'm just puzzled by it. So yeah, like I said, if you know more about it than I do, just comment on my channel and tell me more about it. All right, but yeah, it's just something I really don't understand. All right, so yeah, I guess that's all I can really say about it. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to say. It's just something that I just really wanted to come on here and ask because it's just something I don't understand. And so, if you know more about it than I do, just talk about it to me. So yeah, so I guess that's all I can really say about it. So yeah. All right, so I guess this does it for all I have to say about this subject. So I hope you guys did enjoy what I had to say about it, and yeah, Spider-Man is remaining with Marvel, so that's great. Like I said, more about the article that I was reading will be down in the description if you want to read more about it yourself. All right, so yeah, that's great. Spider-Man is back with Marvel. That's awesome. All right. So yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say about both these subjects. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.